You really think you have the right to judge me? She said, leaning against the kitchen doorway, still reeking of alcohol, her voice laced with contempt and defiance. I slammed the credit card bill down on the counter, the paper flashing white under the light. 3 a.m. A strip club. A private room. You charged it to our joint card. How the hell am I not supposed to judge that? She shrugged, eyes lazy, tone defensive but almost amused. It was a bachelorette thing, okay? Everyone was just blowing off steam. I just wanted to be myself for once. Don't try to trap me in your little world. I leaned on the doorframe, my fist tight enough to hurt. Be yourself? Getting a hand job is being yourself? You were in a private room with married men. Those are your friends? She scoffed. God, you make it sound like some courtroom drama. Honey, this is city nightlife in America. Don't act like the sky is falling. I stared at her, my voice low and cutting. You charged it to our card. Our money. The same account that pays rent, the same card I used to buy your engagement ring. Don't talk to me about freedom when you've spent what's supposed to be ours. Her smirk faltered. Her voice softened. I'll pay you back. Stop acting like some moral hero. I didn't answer. The only sound in the room was the low hum of the refrigerator and the muffled noise of cars outside. I crushed the bill in my hand, like I could crush her excuses too. Get out. Right now. You're not welcome here. She gave a brittle laugh, walking toward the door. Fine. Enjoy your pure little world. Just don't make the wedding too boring. The door slammed behind her. The air felt hollow, like the whole house had been emptied by a cold wind. That night, I sat on the couch for hours, watching the streetlights flicker through the blinds, and old memories began to replay. Years of humiliation and restraint. In high school, girls laughed at my clothes. Guys mocked my quietness. During college interviews, I overheard recruiters mispronouncing my name, laughing about it in the hallway. At work, I was the easy target, the quiet guy who did everyone's work and never complained. My boss took advantage. Coworkers whispered behind my back. I never broke down. I turned every insult into efficiency. I stayed late, learned contracts, studied the law, learned to fight with facts, not emotion. By my 30s, I had my own studio, clients who paid on time, and the quiet satisfaction of watching those same arrogant people come to me for work. Those years taught me two things: patience and precision. And now, staring at that bill, I knew both were about to serve me well. The next morning, I didn't text her, didn't show up at her job. I sat at my desk and began collecting evidence. I scanned the receipt, downloaded the credit card transaction record, saved screenshots of her late-night group chats, and gathered photos from her bachelorette party, zooming in on every detail. I even found the social media check-ins of the men who were there, most of them married, with families. I built a folder with a timeline organized by category: expenses, photos, messages, witnesses, every piece labeled and ready. I wasn't angry. I was clinical, like a surgeon preparing for an operation. The wedding was 3 weeks away. I paused all joint payments, called the planner, and froze the budget. Then I took control of every detail she used to handle. Step one was pressure. I sent anonymous emails to a few clients who valued their company's image. Short, factual, with no emotion. You might want to know that your contractor recently spent company funds at a strip club with several married men. Attached are receipts. I didn't wait for replies. Within a day, rumors began spreading through her office. The polite consultant who'd once praised her called to check in, tone perfectly courteous but sharp with suspicion. Her mother texted, "Sweetheart, are you okay? Someone mentioned something about that night. Don't worry, Mom's here." I knew that tone. Fear disguised as comfort. That MY goal wasn't anger. It was control. I wanted her to collapse where she thought she was strongest. Her social circle, her career, her family's respect. I let whispers bloom. I left subtle clues among her friends, small enough to seem like gossip, real enough to sting. At brunch, someone would casually bring up her crazy party night. Her phone stopped ringing. Invitations dried up. Conversations went cold. When she finally showed up at my apartment in the rain, her voice was trembling. "Can we talk? Please. I'll get help. I'll fix this." I let her in, handed her the folder of evidence, and watched her face crumble. "You spent our money," I said calmly. "You messaged those men. You went there. These are facts." I don't know what to say," she whispered, hands shaking. "You don't have to say anything," I said quietly. "You just have to face what you did." After that, I went for her strongest connections, her colleagues, her old classmates, even her family. I didn't slander, I just sowed doubt. I messaged a few of her friends. "Would you like to know the truth? I have information that might change how you see someone." I didn't need them to act, I just needed them to wonder. And wonder they did. Her boss started keeping his distance. Clients demanded extra documentation. Even her closest friends began treading carefully, using words like boundaries and professionalism. When she tried to defend herself publicly in a meeting, voice trembling, face pale, no one believed her. "I was drunk," she said, forcing a smile. "It wasn't what people think." Please, just give me another chance. The room stayed silent. I wasn't there, but I knew that silence well. It's the sound of judgment. Soon, her text turned from pleading to threats. You're destroying my life just to feel powerful, she wrote, that I saved every message. My reply was brief. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just balancing the books. What she feared most wasn't exposure. It was abandonment. She needed the illusion of being adored, of being safe in her social world. So I talked to a few of the men who'd been with her that night, quietly, directly. If you stay silent, someone else might do the same to you someday. Within days, they began backing away from her. Bridesmaids dropped out. Her friends stopped returning calls. The same people she'd laughed with were now ghosts. You can't do this, she said once, her voice cracking over the phone. You're humiliating me. I'm protecting myself, I said flatly. And the wedding. It's not your show. Her begging shifted to bargaining, therapy, counseling, repayment. I didn't say no, but I didn't say yes either. Over the next few weeks, her world shrank. One client reassessed her qualifications. A mentor sent her a short, polite text, the kind that says I'm disappointed, but too polite to admit it. Even her father's tone on the phone carried silence instead of support. One night, she showed up outside my office, sitting on the steps, eyes swollen. When will you stop? She whispered that I crouched to meet her eyes. When I can live my life without your lies hanging over it. When the balance is restored. She broke down, promising repayment, apologies, anything to make it end. But money doesn't fix betrayal. Consequences do. The climax of revenge isn't a scream. It's a quiet unraveling. I watched her reputation fade. Partnerships gone, followers silent, colleagues polite but distant. She tried to clean up her image with charity events and teary online essays about growth. But sincerity can't grow from deceit. Her worst punishment wasn't public disgrace. It was the private terror of being seen differently. She jumped at whispers, flinched at glances, and panicked whenever someone mentioned that night. Once she saw me in a cafe and almost came over to speak, then froze, turned away, trembling. Fear is self-sustaining once it takes root. I didn't have to keep feeding it. The world did that for me. Still, I'm not cruel for cruelty's sake. When she finally showed genuine remorse, I set conditions. Therapy, accountability, public admission. She did all that, haltingly, painfully, and though I acknowledged her effort, I knew trust couldn't be rebuilt on broken stone. When the original wedding date came, I held a smaller ceremony, a quiet gathering of people who'd stood by me through the storm. She wasn't invited. The sun was warm that day. The oak trees outside the chapel swayed gently. My guests smiled, not out of pity, but out of peace. I realized that what I'd really wanted wasn't revenge. It was restoration. To stand again in a world where my dignity wasn't negotiable. Later, at home, I put the folder of evidence into a drawer. Not as a trophy, but as closure. Her downfall wasn't spectacular, just steady. A career paused, friendships gone, family strained. She posted long apologies online that drew more mockery than comfort. Eventually, she went quiet that I didn't need her to suffer. I needed to reclaim control. Revenge, I learned, isn't about punishment, it's about boundaries. It's making the person who crossed them finally understand what they broke. Now, life goes on. Work, coffee, friends, sunlight on my desk. Occasionally, she still texts, "Can we talk?" I read the messages, then archive them. Sometimes I reply, short and calm. "It's over. I'm not trying to ruin you." But the price was already paid. Her trembling, her fear, her silence. They're not my victory, just the echo of consequence that I don't celebrate her fall. I celebrate my peace. Because the first time she mocked me, she thought she was winning an argument. She didn't realize she was lighting a fuse. And when the smoke cleared, I wasn't angry anymore that I was free.